Yes. Een hele goede middag iedereen en welkom bij een andere editie van Let's Speak Dutch met Louisa. Heel snel gaan wij beginnen met de les. Dus ik hoop dat iedereen zijn pen en papier heeft gepakt en gaat luisteren naar Let's Speak Dutch met Louisa. Elke zaterdag komen wij live en zondag doen wij herhaling van het programma. Dus iedereen, over een paar minuten gaan wij beginnen met Let's Speak Dutch. So as we altijd doen, like we always do, we learn something about the Dutch language. But today we're going to add a special addition to it. Today we're going to learn about the Netherlands as a country as well. So where is the Netherlands? What kind of country is it? How many people live in the Netherlands? Is it a monarchy? Is it a democracy? What is the favorite food of the people of the Netherlands and what is their specialty, like their import product as a country. Dus dat zijn allemaal dingen die wij vandaag over Nederland gaan leren. Dus waar ligt Nederland? Wat voor land is Nederland? Is het een monarchie? Is het een democratie? Hoeveel inwoners heeft Nederland? Welke taal spreken wij? Nou, natuurlijk, we spreken Nederlands. En wat is het lievelingseten van de Nederlanders? Dus naast wat wij normaal gesproken leren, so besides what we regularly learn, we're going to learn about Holland as well today. And after learning about Holland, we're going to do a small quiz. So I hope that everyone has gotten their pen and their paper ready. Ik hoop dat iedereen zijn pen en papier heeft gepakt en lekker met ons mee gaat schrijven en ook gaat luisteren naar Let's Speak Dutch met Louisa. Zoals ik al zei, zijn we elke zaterdag live. So every Saturday we come on live on the radio, but on Facebook as well. And on Sunday we repeat everything that we learned on a Saturday. So on Sunday you can also watch the rewind. And then during the week you can just watch our YouTube page, yes, and listen to our podcast. So let's say you are not able to view the YouTube page because you're busy, you can just put in your earphones and listen to our live podcast via AfroEuro.org. So you just go to the AfroEuro page, and through AfroEuro.org you can listen to us live on the podcast, and you can watch us through our YouTube page, which is Stichting AfroEuro. So the Stichting is STICH T-I-N-G. So STICHTING. And then AfroEuro is AFROEURO. So if you miss us during the Saturday live sessions, or you can't repeat on Sunday, or you miss the repeat on Sunday, you can also watch us live throughout the entire week. Not live, sorry. You can also watch us throughout the entire week on YouTube or listen to our podcast via AfroEuro.org. as I already mentioned today, vandaag gaan wij leren over de verschillende soorten eten of verschillende soorten dingen die je kan kopen. So we're going to learn about grocery shopping or the things that you eat for the day. So how do you mention some of the items you buy in the grocery store or even outside on the market? So things that you use to cook. How do you mention it in the Dutch language? And we're also going to learn about Holland, the Netherlands itself. We gaan leren over Nederland vandaag. Waar ligt Nederland? Wat voor land is Nederland? Is het een monarchie? Is het een democratie? Hoeveel mensen wonen er in Nederland? Wat is het lievelingseten van de Nederlanders? En ook wat is de hoofdstad van Nederland? Dus al deze dingen gaan wij vandaag leren op Let's Speak Dutch met Louisa. So during the small quiz that we will be doing later on, I know a lot of people are busy today due to some activities. So maybe we better to postpone the quiz to next week. So next week we'll do the quiz. So today we're going to learn about Holland as a country and also how to pronounce some of the things that you buy in the grocery store or you buy at the market, food stuff that you need to prepare a dish. And then next week we'll do a quiz on how well do you know Holland. So next week we'll do a quiz on how well do you know Holland. So hoe goed ken jij Nederlands? Hoe goed ken jij Nederlands? So it's not necessarily about the Dutch language, but it's about the Netherlands as a country. How well do you know the Netherlands? We'll do a quiz about that next week. But we will learn lots and lots and lots about it today. Vandaag gaan we heel veel dingen leren over Nederland als een land. En volgende week doen wij een quiz over hoe goed ken jij Nederland. Dus hoe goed ken jij Nederland? Nogmaals een hele goede middag iedereen en welkom bij de 11e alweer editie van Let's Speak Dutch met Louisa. Deze programma wordt gesponsord door de gemeente Den Haag en het is ook namens stichting AfroEuro. Elke week leren wij iets over de Nederlandse taal. Bijvoorbeeld hoe je dingen uitspreekt, hoe je bepaalde dingen noemt, maar ook hoe je bepaalde zinnen zegt en hoe je een gesprek kan voeren met mensen. Dus vandaag is ook weer een andere editie waar wij weer lekker veel dingen gaan leren. Vandaag gaan wij leren over boodschappen doen of dingen kopen. Dus als jij lekker naar de supermarkt gaat of naar de markt, wat voor dingen kan jij daar allemaal kopen en hoe noem je deze dingen? So today we're going to learn first of all about grocery shopping or the items that you need at a grocery store or on the market. Some things that you need that you can use to cook. So those are some of the things that we're going to learn today. And like I already said, we're also going to learn about the Netherlands itself, about Holland as a country itself. So what are some of the items? Let's start with some of the items that you can buy in a supermarket and how you say it. So the items that you can buy in a supermarket and how you call them. So for example, you have an apple. I think it's pretty much the same as in English. There's no major difference. Dus je hebt appels. Je hebt ook bananen. So right now I'm just mentioning the fruits that you have in grocery stores or at supermarkets, but how you say it in the Dutch language. Dus je hebt apples, which are apples. Je hebt bananen, which are bananas. Je hebt een sinaasappel, which are oranges. See, that is a word that sounds totally different from English. So sinaasappels are oranges. And then heb je ananas, which is pineapples. So when it comes to fruits, you have apples, bananen, sinaasappelen, ananas, and also mandarijnen, which are tangerines. So as you can hear, most of the fruits sounds completely different in Dutch than it does in English. So the basic fruit that we normally eat on a daily basis that you can find in almost every home are apples, bananen, sinaasappelen, mandarijnen. And sometimes you can find ananas there as well, which is a pineapple. And then when it comes to the vegetables, you have tomaten, which are tomatoes, komkommer, which is cucumber. You also have sla, which is salad. So the iceberg salad, the salad. You also have bloemkool, which is cauliflower. Bloemkool, which is cauliflower. So these are some of the vegetables that we normally use in prepping food. Je hebt ook bonen, which are beans. Dus dan heb je groene bonen, green beans, bruine bonen, brown beans. So it depends on the color of the beans that you add it to. Dus je hebt tomaten, komkommers, bloemkool, en je hebt ook bonen when it comes to vegetables. And then when it comes to pastry stuff, heb je ook brood, which is bread. Dus je hebt brood, which is bread. Je hebt ook lekkere krentenbol. So krentenbol is not a bread that they have, I think, in every country. But here in the Netherlands, they do eat it a lot. Krentenbol is a round bread with raisins in it. It has raisins in it. Dat is een krenten. So krenten are raisins. A krentenbol is a raisin bread, basically. Een krentenbol heb ik gewoon normale brood. Je hebt witte brood, bruine brood. So you have white bread or brown bread. Dus wit brood of bruin brood heb je ook. En als het op vlees aankomt, so when it comes to meat, heb je dan rundvlees, which is beef. Je hebt ook varkensvlees, which is pork. Je hebt ook kip, which is chicken. En je hebt ook vis, which is fish. So fish does sound like the English fish. Maar kip, chicken, is something totally different. And also rundvlees, which is beef. And varkensvlees, which is pork meat. Varkensvlees, which is pork meat. Je hebt natuurlijk ook eieren, which are eggs. Je hebt ook ui, which is onion. Je hebt ook pasta, macaroni, fusilli. Je hebt ook welke allemaal spaghetti heb je ook. En je hebt natuurlijk ook nog rijst. Of course. Rijst moeten we natuurlijk niet vergeten. Je hebt rijst, je hebt pasta, je hebt spaghetti, je hebt peren, komkommers, krentenbol, wit brood, bruin brood. Je hebt ook boter, koop je ook bij de supermarkt of de markt zelf. Je hebt rundvlees, varkensvlees, kip, vis en je hebt dan bananen, appels, sinaasappels. Wat zei ik allemaal nog meer? Ananas en mandarijnen. So these are some of the things that you can buy, or the basic food stuff that I think everyone has in the house and does groceries for. So when it comes to, like, once again, the meat items, heb je kip, rundvlees, varkensvlees en je hebt ook vis. When it comes to, let's say, the pastry items, you have krentenbol, witte brood, bruin brood. When it comes to the vegetable items, you have komkommer, tomaat, sla, paprika, uien en knoflook. When it comes to fruits, you have apple, banaan, sinaasappel, mandarijn en ananas. And then when it comes to other items as well, heb je boter, for example, eieren en ook frisdrank. So frisdrank is just soda, like cola, Fanta, and so forth. That all is frisdrank. Dus dit zijn, zeg maar, de dingen die je in een supermarkt kan kopen. These are some of the items that you can buy in a supermarket. So you have the vegetables, the fruits, the drinks, the deep freeze items, the bakery items, the butchery items, and then also the non-food items. So when we say non-food, those are stuff that you can't eat but you can buy in the supermarket. For example, a shaving stick is a non-food item. So these are stuff that you can buy in the supermarket but you can't eat, so they are considered non-food items. So when you're in a supermarket and you want to ask for something, maybe you want to know where the tin tomatoes are, for example, and you see someone, how do you ask a person where the tin tomatoes are? So you approach the person, whether a male or a female. So you approach the person by saying, pardon, so pardon me, weet u misschien waar de tomaten liggen? Weet u misschien waar de tomaten? In this case, if it's tin tomatoes, it is tomatenpuree. So tin tomatoes in Dutch is tomatenpuree. That's tin tomatoes, tomatenpuree. And the canned tomatoes zijn tomaten in blik. So with that one, you have the chopped one and you have the whole as well. Dus dan zeg je, pardon meneer, or pardon mevrouw. And if it's a younger person, you can say, pardon meisje, or pardon jongen. Weet jij misschien waar de tomatenpuree ligt? Do you know where the tomato puree or tin tomato is? And if it's an elderly person, you ask by saying, weet u misschien waar de tomatenpuree ligt? Weet u misschien waar de tomatenpuree ligt? So do you know where the tomato puree is? And then if you have found out where it is, so they can answer by saying, if they know, they can say, nou, het ligt bij de derde rij aan uw linkerhand, which means it's at the third row on your left side. Het ligt bij de derde rij aan uw linkerhand. Or they can also say, ik weet het niet, so I don't know, maar ik kan het voor u vragen. Which means I don't know, but I can ask someone else for you. So it depends on whether the person knows or not. If they know, they'll just show you where it is. And maybe if you are working at a supermarket and someone comes to you and asks you, please, do you know where the tomato puree or tin tomato is? Then you can answer by saying, if you do know, you just direct the person out. Het ligt bij, which means it is at. Het ligt bij, or it lies at, literally translated. And then you just show the person where it is. Or if you don't know, you can just simply say, nee, ik weet het niet. Maar, but, I can ask for you. Ik kan het voor u vragen. Of ik kan het voor je vragen, depending on who you have in front of you. So when you get to the casa, or even when you're at the store and you see something and the price is not written there and you would like to know how much it costs. So how do you ask how much something costs? Hoeveel kost dat? Hoeveel kost dat? And then you show the person the item that you're asking the price of. Hoeveel kost dit? Hoeveel kost dit? That is if you want to know how much something costs. Of course, here in the supermarkets, mostly the price is listed below the item. But in a case whereby the price is not listed below the item and you would like to know by asking, dan vraag je, hoeveel kost dat? Dus hoeveel kost deze appel? Hoeveel kost deze banaan? Hoeveel kost deze bloemkool, deze paprika, enzovoort, depending on what product you would like to know the price of. And with that, the person can answer by saying, het kost da 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 da. For example, het kost €3 of het kost €2, depending on how much it costs. So we've learned so far about the items, or some of the items, the daily items that we use in our homes that you can buy in a supermarket or in on the market itself. And we've also learned how to ask for a product, so where the product is, and also how much it costs. So we're going to go on a short break. When we come back, we're going to learn about how to say, for example, a box of fish, a bag of rice, a can of tomatoes, a bottle of water. So how to say those things, how to link those words together. So laat je kanaal hier blijven. Ga nergens naartoe. Ik kom zo terug. Yes, nogmaals welkom terug bij een andere editie van Let's Speak Dutch met Lovisa. Nou, voor de pauze hebben wij net geleerd over dingen die je in de supermarkt kan kopen. Dus zowel food als non-food. En ook hoe je kan vragen waar iets ligt en hoeveel iets kost. Dus als er vragen zijn of dingen die jij wilt weten, kan je ons gerust bellen op 070 7370 507. 070 7370 507. So if you have any questions considering items that you can buy in the supermarket or on the market itself, or maybe how to say some things, maybe there's some things that are a bit confusing to you on how to say it in Dutch when you're going outside to get groceries or when you're going to the markets to get groceries, please feel free to call us on 07073 70507 07073 and I'll be more than happy to explain some things to you. So as I said, when we return from the break, we'll learn a bit about how to combine some of the words. So for example, a box of cookies or fish, a can of tomatoes, a bottle of water, a jar of mayonnaise, and so forth. So let's say a jar of mayonnaise. So you know mayonnaise, you buy it in those jars. Sometimes you buy it in the squeezing bottles as well. It depends on how it is packaged. But normally you buy it in a jar. And a jar of mayonnaise, you say een pot mayonaise. So a jar is een pot mayonaise. And also een fles water, which means a bottle of water. Een fles water, een pot mayonaise. Een blikje tomaten, which is a can of tomatoes. Een pakje koekjes, which means een pak is a package or a pack of cookies. Een pak koekjes of een doos cookies, which is a box of cookies, depending on how it is packaged. En dan heb je ook een zak, which is a bag of, for example, tomatoes as well, or a bag of apples, which is also possible. So when it comes to een pak, so which is a pack of, je zegt het pak of een pak. A doos is een box. A zak is a bag. Een blik is a can. Een fles is a bottle. En een pot is a jar. So een pak koekjes. Een doos geen doos tomaten. Een doos macaroni, because sometimes they sell macaroni too in the boxes. Een zakje appels, a bag of apples. Een blikje tomaten, or een blikje sardientjes. So like this, the can of sardines. En dan heb je een fles water of een fles Fanta. A bottle of water or bottle of Fanta. En een pot mayonaise, which is a pot or jar of mayonnaise, or een pot augurken, which are pickles as well. So een bak, een doos, een zak, een blik, een fles, and een pot, which defines what you need and what the item is contained in. So once again, let's repeat a bit about grocery shopping, but also the items that you can buy in supermarkets, and then we'll go on to how well do you know Holland? Dus hoe goed ken jij Nederland? Well, like I said, today we're going to learn about how well you know the country. And then next week, because I know a lot of people are busy today, it's Saturday. So next week we'll then do the quiz with you. So I hope that you all listen well. Ik hoop dat iedereen gewoon goed gaat luisteren over al deze dingen over Nederland. En volgende week doen wij een hele leuke quiz. En met die quiz kan je ook natuurlijk wat winnen. Ja, je kan natuurlijk wat winnen met die quiz. Dus de mensen die dan later gaan kijken op YouTube, kan je ook gewoon in de comment sectie kan je dan meedoen. So those that will be watching us on our YouTube channel can also put their answer in the comment section next week. Next week we'll do the quiz on how well do you know Holland. So how well do you know Holland is also part of the inburgeringstest. Yes, the inburgeringstest. So It's good to know your country well. It's very good to know your country well. So let's repeat what we learned. Let's repeat what we learned a bit, and then we'll go into how well do you know Holland. So some of the items that we learned today are kip. We hebben ook geleerd over rundvlees, maar ook over tomaten, komkommers. We hebben geleerd over bloemkool, boter. We hebben ook geleerd, oh ja, I forgot wasmiddel. Wasmiddel, which is fabric soap. Yes, or washing soap. I think that would be a better name for it. Washing soap. Wasmiddel. So the liquid, sometimes it's liquid, sometimes it's powder that you use to do your laundry soap. Dat is wasmiddel. And wasverzachter is a fabric softener. Wasverzachter are the fabric softeners. We also learn wortel, ui, which is onion, ui. En dan ook sla, sinaasappel, shampoo. So shampoo, yes. Let's learn one thing. Shampoo is only the one that we use to wash our hair. So if you go into a Dutch supermarket and you ask for shampoo, I know with us, I won't say foreigners, but I think Africans in general, when we say shampoo, we normally mean the one that you can just use to shower as well. Maar nee. Hier in Nederland, shampoo is only the one you use to wash your hair. It's only the one you use to wash your hair. And douche gel is the one used to wash your body. So shampoo is the one for your hair and douche gel is the one for your body. We hebben ook geleerd over biefstuk of rundvlees, which is beef. We hebben geleerd vis, ook macaroni, spaghetti, krentenbol. Yes, ook krentenbol geleerd. And tandenborstel. Tandenborstel is also a non-food item in the supermarket, which is a toothbrush. And tanden, it is your teeth. Borstel, brush. So toothbrush is a tandenborstel. And a tandenpasta, which is a toothpaste. En we hebben ook geleerd over eieren, which are eggs. And we learned about how to ask for something in a supermarket. Dus hoe vraag jij waar iets ligt in een supermarkt? How do you ask where something is in a supermarket? You ask by saying pardon meneer, or pardon mevrouw, or pardon meisje, or pardon jongen. Waar ligt, for example, de appels, or een zak appels? Waar ligt een zak appels, of waar ligt de appels? So waar ligt is where does it lie? And then they answer you by letting you know where it is. For example, het ligt bij rijtje 3 aan uw rechterhand. Or, nee, ik weet het niet, maar ik ga het voor u vragen. So, nee, ik weet het niet, maar ik ga het voor u vragen. Even in this sentence, you can use it for every other thing. So when someone asks you something and you don't know, but you know that there's someone else that you can ask, then you answer by saying, nee, ik weet het niet, maar ik kan het voor u vragen. No, I don't know, but I can ask for you. We also learned about packaging, so how things are packaged. Dus je hebt een pak, which is a pack, een doos, which is a box, een zak, which is a bag, een blik, which is a can, een fles, a bottle, and een pot is a pot. So it depends on what you're buying the items in or what the items are contained in. So een zak apples is a bag of apples, for example. Apples, you can't really buy it in bottles, so you can never say een fles apples. But mostly some items are contained in multiple containers. So you can also, for example, say a fles mayonnaise or a pot mayonnaise. With mayonnaise, it's both possible because they can both put it in a jar, but also in those plastic bottles as well. So let's go on another short break. And when we come back, we will learn about Holland. How well do you know the Netherlands? Ja, vandaag gaan we het alleen maar leren. We gaan alleen maar dingen leren over Nederlands. Maar volgende week, next week, we'll do a quiz on how well do you know Holland? Hoe goed ken jij Nederland? Yes, nogmaals een hele goede middag iedereen en welkom weer bij een andere editie van Let's Speak Dutch met Louisa. Om te beginnen hebben we vandaag geleerd over boodschappen doen, de dingen die je kan halen bij een supermarkt, hoe je iets kan vragen bij een supermarkt, maar ook hoe je kan vragen hoeveel iets kost. Dus hoeveel kost dat of hoeveel kost dit? If you have the thing in your hand, it is dit. But if you're pointing at the item, it is hoeveel kost dat? Hoeveel kost dat? Which means you're referring to something. But if it's in your hand, it's in your face, you're pointing at the person, then you say hoeveel kost dit? Yes. So as I said, today we're going to learn about the Netherlands. Yes, the country that we've been learning the language for over 10 sessions now. Of course, we have to learn one or two things about it, which is also very important for your integration. You have to know some things about the Netherlands. So, nou, laten we gaan beginnen. Dus Nederland is één van de landen binnen het Koninkrijk der Nederlanden. So the Netherlands is one of the countries within the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Dus het Koninkrijk der Nederlanden is the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Dus Nederland ligt voor het grootste gedeelte in het noordwesten van Europa aan de Noordzee. So the country Holland, for the most part, lies on the northeast side of Europe at the North Sea coast. That is where the Netherlands lie. Next to the European parts, dus naast het Europese deel, zijn er nog 3 bijzondere gemeentes in de Caribische Zee. So apart from the Netherlands being in Europe, there are also 3 other municipalities in other sides of the continent, which is the Caribbean Sea. So you have countries of the Netherlands in the Caribbean Sea. So it's not only the country Holland, which is Nederland in Europe, in the northwest of Europe, but also in the Caribbean Sea, they have other, they call it municipalities, dus gemeentes, which all falls under the Kingdom of the Netherlands. So the neighboring countries of Holland are Germany and Belgium. Dus de grensende of begrensd door België en langs de oostgrens heb je Duitsland en aan de west- en noordzijde door de zee. So north, south, east. On the east side, yes, you have Germany. On the south side, you have Belgium. And on the north side, you have the sea, which are the borders, which forms the border of the Netherlands. And the capital of the Netherlands, dus de hoofdstad van Nederland, is Amsterdam. De hoofdstad van Nederland is Amsterdam. But the government is statute in Den Haag. So the government is in Den Haag, but the capital of the Netherlands is Amsterdam. So I hope everyone is listening and paying good attention, because next week I'll be asking all these questions. So let me just repeat a little bit about what I read so far. So Holland is one of the countries of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. So it's not the only country, but one of the country of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. And the Netherlands is in northwest of Europe. And it has 3 other municipals in the Caribbean Sea, also known as the Caribbean Dutch. Holland has 2 neighboring countries, which is Germany and Belgium. Amsterdam is the capital of the Netherlands, and the government is in The Hague, Den Haag. Okay, let's go on. Nederland heeft een inwonersaantal van 17,47 miljoen. So Holland has a population of 17.47 million people. 17.47 million people, which makes it the 15th crowded country in the world. 15th. It is a small country, so imagine it being the 15th crowded country in the world. So Holland has 12 provinces, so not 5 but 12 provinces, and it has about 350 municipalities. So it has 12 provinces. Dus je hebt dan Noord-Holland, Zuid-Holland, Utrecht, je hebt Groningen, je hebt Maastricht, nee, Limburg, sorry. Je hebt Noord-Brabant, je hebt Flevoland, je hebt ook Overijssel. So these are all provinces that are in the Netherlands. So there are 12 provinces in total with around 350 municipalities. While the Dutch gained its independence during the war that lasted 80 years, dus de 80-jarige oorlog. So it's a war that lasted for 80 years, de 80-jarige oorlog. That is when they gained their independence, which was in 1568 up until 1648. So 1568 up until 1648. 1568 up until 1648, which is when they gained their independence. So during the 80-jarige oorlog, that is when they gained their independence. Even kijken. So Holland was also, well, it had a lot of colonies under it, but I won't go too much into that. But right now, the 3 Caribbean municipalities that I was talking about are Aruba, Curaçao, and Sint Maarten. So Aruba, Curaçao, and Sint Maarten are still the countries in the Caribbean Sea that still falls under the Netherlands, which is seen as special municipalities of the Netherlands. So the Netherlands, when it comes to politics, it is a constitutional monarch. So it's a parliamentary democracy with a constitutional monarch. That is what they call it. So the people in this country that have the power, who have a say, are the king. In this case, before we had a queen, but now we have a king, and the ministers who falls under the prime minister. Those are the ones that have a say here in the Netherlands. So once again, let me just repeat a bit about what I read, and then we'll go on to the next part. So Holland has a population of 17.47 million people. Dus Nederland heeft een inwonersaantal van 17,47 miljoen mensen. So when we're doing the quiz, I would do it in Dutch. I would do the quiz in Dutch. So that's why I also translated back to English a bit, so you know what I'm talking about. The quiz will be in Dutch next week. Dus het heeft een inwonersaantal. It has a population of 17,47 miljoen mensen, which makes it the 15th crowded country in the world. Of the 15 dichtst bevolkte land, Dus 15 dichtbevolkte land, which is crowded country in the world. Holland gained its independence during the 80 Years' War, dus de 80-jarige oorlog, from 1568 up until 1648. So 1568 up until 1648. That's when they gained their independence. And in 1979, so during that war, that's when the North Dutch was formed, with which the Unie of Utrecht, but that's just too much history. But that is when the Netherlands was formed as a country. Also, the three Caribbean countries, or the three Caribbean municipalities that falls under the Netherlands are Aruba, Curacao, and Sint Maarten. And Holland is a parliamentary democracy with a constitutional monarchy. So the country is seen as a parliamentary democracy with a constitutional monarchy. That is what you call it, which means the rules are made by the king, with the ministers and the prime minister. Yes. So let's talk a bit about the culture of the Netherlands. The culture. Well, the Dutch flag, as we all know, the Nederlandse vlag bestaat uit drie kleuren. So there are three colors in the Dutch flag: rood, wit, blauw. Red, white, and blue. Rood, wit, blauw, which is red, white, and blue. That is the color of the flag of the Netherlands. And this flag was made during the independence, so during the 80-year war between 1568 and 1648. That is when the Dutch flag came into existence: the red, white, and blue. So there are some traditions and festivities here in Holland. So traditional festivities and also traditions. So some of the festivities are Koningsdag. Koningsdag is King's Day. So officially, it was the birthday of the Queen, which was the first Koninginnedag. It was first called the Koninginnedag, and then when we got a king, we changed it into Koningsdag. So it was the birthday of Beatrice, our former queen, her mother's birthday. But then when she became queen, she just left that date because her official birthday is in January. But when she became queen, she just left that date. But when Willem-Alexander, which is now Koning, not Prince, but Koning Willem-Alexander, became king, he changed the date to 27th April. Because first was the last day, I think 30th April, but now it became 27th April. That is when we celebrate Koningsdag, King's Day. You also have Bevrijdingsdag. Bevrijdingsdag is also another Independence Day. That is the day that the Dutch were freed from the Nazis. So from the the Deutsch, the German Nazis, which was on the 5th of May. It's also a holiday in the Netherlands. You also have Sinterklaas. Sinterklaas, this, or I think when you would translate it to English, it's Santa Claus, but it's a different kind of Santa Claus because it doesn't come around Christmas, but it comes about 2 weeks before Christmas. Sinterklaas is also a Dutch holiday. And you also have St. Martin, which is similar to American Halloween celebration, I can say. That is also another holiday here in Holland. And the Dutch have a tradition that's during New Year's Eve, they eat oliebollen. Oliebollen. I don't know the English name for oliebollen, but I will try and look it up. I'll try and look it up, and I'll let you guys know next week before we end the show. But some of the traditional things that Dutch do during New Year's Eve is oliebollen eten. Ze eten graag oliebollen. So let me just summarize a bit what we learned about the Netherlands today, because if I just go on and on, we'll be learning way too much, and I think we need to try and keep it short, so at least what we've learned will stay in your head. So the flag of the Netherlands exists of three colors, three horizontal lanes: red, white, and blue. And that flag is from during the independence time, which was in 1576, and it was officially approved in 1793. There are a lot of holidays in the Netherlands, but which ones are the traditional ones? So the traditional ones, dus de traditionele feestdagen, zijn Koningsdag. Je hebt dan ook Bevrijdingsdag. Je hebt Sinterklaas. Je hebt dan ook Oud en Nieuw. En Sint Maarten. Sint Maarten as well. And Oud en Nieuw. And during Oud en Nieuw, that's when we eat the oliebollen. The oliebollen. So that is where I will leave it for today, at least about how well do you know Holland. Next time, of course, we'll come with more information. Then we'll do another quiz again. But the quiz that we're going to do for now will just be based on the things that we've learned so far. Dus voor nu hebben we geleerd. So far, we've learned about where Holland or where the Netherlands is in Europe. So it's in the northwest of Europe. It also has 17.47 million people. Het heeft 17,47 miljoen inwoners. De vlag van Nederland is rood, wit en blauw. Nederland is een constitutionele, een constitutional monarchie. Constitutionele, what's a word? Constitutionele monarchie. Constitutional monarchy. And we also know that it is ruled by the king, but also by the minister and the prime, the ministers and the prime minister. Holland gained its independence during the 80 Years' War, de 80-jarige oorlog, which is between 1568, so 1568, up until 1648, during the 80-jarige oorlog. And the flag was approved in 1796. 1796, that's when the flag, red, white, and blue, was approved. Their king is Koning Willem-Alexander, which is the son of Princess Beatrix. Koning Willem-Alexander is the current king of the Netherlands, and his birthday is the 27th of April, and that is when we celebrate Koningsdag, which is King's Day. We also have Sinterklaas, which is Santa Claus. We have St. Martin, which is similar to Halloween in America, just that here the people don't really get that dressed up as they do in the US. We also have Oud en Nieuw, where we eat oliebollen, olie lekker bollen. Like I said, I'll look for the English word for oliebollen and let you know by next week. And the three Caribbean municipalities of the Netherlands are Aruba, St. Martin, and the last one, don't let me forget, Aruba, St. Martin, and Curaçao. Those are the three islands of the Netherlands. So the Netherlands is part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. So together with Aruba, Curaçao, and St. Martin, that's when they form the Kingdom of the Netherlands. The neighboring countries of Holland are Germany and Belgium, and also the North Sea. So Germany and Belgium are the neighboring countries, and the North Sea is the neighboring sea of the Netherlands. And I forgot to mention one thing. The coin that we consume here is the euros. Euro is what we use here in the Netherlands. So I hope that you remember everything that I said, or at least you wrote it down. If you didn't, please don't forget to watch us again tomorrow. Dus vergeet morgen dan niet weer te kijken. And also during the week, you can watch our podcast, our live podcast via AfroEuro.org. So you can listen to our podcast and you can watch us also on YouTube. So everything that we've learned today, you can just watch it back on YouTube from Monday going. So you have all the time, you have the whole week to practice for the quiz next week. So the quiz next week will be about how well do you know Holland. So that will be based on everything that I thought or I told you all today. So make sure that next week you tune in for the quiz. In the meantime, keep our podcast checked, keep our YouTube channel checked, and also check in tomorrow to rewatch today or re-listen to today's program. So I will see you again next week. een hele fijne week gewenst. En morgen komen we weer, maar morgen zijn we niet live. In de loop van de week kan je ons ook kijken via YouTube en ook via onze podcast Stichting AfroEuro. So AfroEuro.org en on YouTube het is Stichting AfroEuro. Nou, hierbij zeg ik een hele fijne dag, hele fijne week en doei doei!